WNEMTV5 starts right now with breaking news.
And yeah, we're learning of that breaking news in just the past hour. Owasso police asking for your help to find 2 missing endangered children. Take a good look at your screen right there. That's Avery and Rosie Buford. They were last seen on the 100 block of North Washington Street in Owasso at 7:15 this morning. Thanks so much for joining us for the news at noon, everyone. I'm Blake Keller. Avery is 3, Rosie is 2, and police say both were wearing white Adidas Tinkerbell shirts. Investigators believe they are with Jared Buford, and we're told the girl's mom just got a personal protection order on him. Now, Jared is 25 years old, 5'8" and 130 pounds. He has tattoos on both his forearms, upper arms, and chest. Now, police believe he could be headed to Tennessee, so if you have information, please call 911. All right, let's check on your weather. Right now, we're in for a milder Tuesday, but tomorrow could have a slippery morning commute. There's a beautiful shot right there. A winter weather advisory goes into effect later for all TV5 viewing area counties, so winter is not done just yet. Joining us now from the First Warn 5 Weather Center, meteorologist Matthew Mondro. So at least the sun is doing some good for us right now, Matthew.
Oh, absolutely, Blake. Looks great out there for this afternoon. We'll continue to warm up a little more through this afternoon, too, but the clouds move in later on closer to sundown. And that's all ahead of this storm system. So as Blake mentioned, those winter weather advisories all go into effect at 8 p.m. this evening. They stay in effect until noon tomorrow. This is due to that freezing rain threat. So certainly looking at a slippery and slower commute tomorrow morning. So that's something to keep in mind. But as for right now, everything's still pretty quiet. We have 30 degrees in Saginaw, 26 in Bay City, 29 in Lapeer, and 28 over in Clare. Our wind's still pretty light, too. That will start to pick up a little more out of the southeast, only at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, though, but it will keep our shoreline communities and our northern counties a little cooler for this afternoon as well. But we can see on our First Warn 5 sky tracker all of those clouds off to our west, still dry though at the moment, so it's just the cloud coverage that starts to move in. So yeah, hour by hour for the rest of the afternoon, still looking good if you do need to get outside, but that evening planner does have that snow shower activity and then the freezing rain picking up closer to midnight. Blake, I'll have much more on that coming up in your full forecast.
All right, Matthew, sounds good. Thank you. In more local news, Michigan Sugar is joining the CAN Council to bring awareness of Child Abuse Prevention Month. The CAN Council says it is a time to examine what everyday people can do to prevent child abuse. Michigan Sugar is planning all the events and activities. The first one is next Tuesday at noon. The presentation will help you learn the 5 steps of protecting children. The event is free and open to the public. Now, anyone interested in registering can call that number right there on your screen, or you can head to our website, WNEM.com. And across Michigan, Western Michigan University students helped solve a 1987 murder investigation. A cold case program at the university gave a fresh set of eyes and the chance to review hundreds of files and evidence from the past 3 decades. 67-year-old Patrick Gillum is seen in court 35 years after prosecutors say he broke into Roxanne Woods Niles' home and cut her throat. WMU senior Mackenzie Stammen worked alongside Michigan State Police reviewing those files.
We could just let the detectives know, like, hey, there's this piece of information that you guys might want to look back into, or there's more that could be done with this. And the evidence that did eventually break that case was just another piece of information like that.
It was the first case put in front of students, and it ended in an arrest. Police say DNA evidence from a cigarette outside Gillum's South Bend home matched DNA evidence found on Wood's body. Investigators say a Marquette senior high school student who died by suicide was a victim of sextortion. The Marquette County Sheriff says 17-year-old Jordan DeMay died Friday. Investigators believe he was being extorted through Instagram over pictures he had taken of himself and was being pressured to pay money in exchange for those photos. The incident is still being investigated. Well, there are new questions about what former President Trump was doing and who he was speaking with on January 6, 2021. At the time, thousands of his supporters were attacking the U.S. Capitol. Skylar Henry has more details from Capitol Hill.
President Trump's phone calls during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol are being scrutinized. CBS News and The Washington Post have obtained 11 pages of White House records for January 6th, which show a log of the president's calls. But there is a nearly 8-hour gap from 11:17 a.m. to 6:54 p.m., in which no phone call was recorded.
No records turned over to the Select Committee in the House because the National Archives doesn't have them.
CBS News has confirmed the president talked on the phone to at least 2 people, including Utah Senator Mike Lee and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy during that time frame.
These records seem to have disappeared, and one lawmaker we talked to said this is a cover-up.
The congressional committee investigating the January 6th assault is looking into whether President Trump used phones belonging to his aides or personal disposable phones called burner phones to speak with people during that period. Former President Trump responded in a statement saying, "I have no idea what a burner phone is. To the best of my knowledge, I've never even heard of the term." The revelation comes as 2 more former members of the Trump administration face charges for refusing to work with the committee investigating the January 6th assault. The committee voted unanimously to recommend that the House hold Dan Scavino and Peter Navarro in contempt of Congress.
They are obligated to comply with our investigation. They have refused to do so, and that's a crime.
And a federal judge in California ruled Monday that attorney John Eastman, who outlined legal plans to overturn the 2020 elections, has to turn over his records to the committee. In issuing the ruling, Judge David Carter said that Eastman and former President Trump more likely than not engaged in criminal conduct to overturn the election. He said their campaign was not confined to the ivory tower. It was a coup in search of a legal theory. Judge Carter added the plan spurred violent attacks on the seat of our nation's government, led to the deaths of several law enforcement officers, and deepened public distrust of our political process. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Eastman's attorney told CBS News his client has an unblemished record as an attorney and disagrees with the judge's findings. All right, experts say there is a concerning rise of prediabetes in children. Why researchers say the issue needs to be looked into. Coming up, we have these stories and much more still ahead as TV5 News at noon continues in just a moment. And for the latest news and weather, download or update the new TV5 mobile app. You'll find it in the App Store or on Google Play. Just search WNEM. In your health, money spent on health care in the U.S. hit a 20-year high in 2020. As the pandemic began to unfold, national health spending grew nearly 10%, while gross domestic product went down more than 2%. That means health care that year took up nearly 20% of total spending. The numbers are from a new study published in the journal Health Affairs. New research highlights a new trend of prediabetes among children. Cases have doubled over a nearly 2-decade span, according to one study published in the JAMA Pediatrics Journal. The findings are based on data from 12 to 19-year-olds and information from the CDC. Prediabetics often have higher than normal blood sugar levels and have a greater risk of health issues like type 2 diabetes, stroke, and heart disease. Researchers say they can't pin down why prediabetes has increased, adding that's an issue that needs to be looked into further. Well, the royals are gathering to remember the late Prince Philip. We'll have more on the tribute for him still ahead. And a bald eaglet and her sibling have become quite the internet celebrities, but now she's facing danger. Coming up, how wildlife specialists took action to save this young bird.
And now your first Horn 5 forecast, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
Still seeing some beautiful weather around the area at this lunch hour. Sunny skies, dry weather, temperatures a little bit warming from this morning. So certainly if you get out there, it'll still feel nice. But by the time we get towards the evening, that's when we'll be on the lookout for that incoming storm system. That'll bring us a few brief snow showers, but most importantly, that freezing rain. So if you are looking to travel tomorrow morning, be sure to plan a little bit of extra time into your commute. Now, the National Weather Service has a winter weather advisory for every TV5 viewing area county that goes into effect at 8 p.m. p.m. this evening. It stays in effect until noon tomorrow, and the reason being for that is by noon tomorrow, everybody's temperatures will be back above freezing. So any rain falling at that point is just going to be plain rain reaching the ground. But this is going to be another longer duration system, again, sort of like last week, where it kicks off tonight, and we'll still have scattered showers from the same system all the way into Thursday. Our freezing rain potential also still looking to be on track as well as far as totals go, around 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of ice. Any amount of ice is going to make roadways a little bit slick for tomorrow and again slow down that commute. But the good news with all of this is that by the afternoon, once our temperatures get above freezing, that will start to melt all of that ice. So unlike the ice storm that we had about a month ago, this ice won't be hanging around all day or even into the next day too. Those temperatures, speaking of, they'll be above freezing into the Tri-Cities and the Thumb, closer to around 8 to 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Slightly earlier than that if you're farther south, but closer to noon if you're in our northern counties. Just want to go through the hour by hour for those temperatures here. We'll see them all just below freezing overnight. This is around 8 o'clock, though, starting to see 33, 34, 35 for some of our southern locations. Then those numbers making their way up into our northern counties closer to noon. We'll also continue to warm up into the afternoon tomorrow into the 50s. Flint, you might even come close to 60 degrees by tomorrow afternoon too. But where's that system at? Still brewing off into the plains, but slowly moving closer to us. Everything pretty quiet in between, but more clouds that will be moving in. We're pretty sunny right now. Birch Run I-75 with your Godwin's camera looking beautiful at this lunch hour. And our First Warn 5 pinpoint Doppler live from MBS is also all dry too. As we go through your First Warn 5 hour by hour for the rest of the afternoon, we'll still see a lot of that sunshine coming in, but more of these high clouds with the system starting to make their way in from the southwest. It's closer to midnight. We have just some brief snow showers at the onset, then our transition over to freezing rain, that ice that'll continue to migrate towards the northeast. This is around 4 to 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So right when that morning drive is just getting started, certainly a lot of freezing rain that will be coming down. So roadways already seeing impacts at that point. That'll continue to lift towards the northeast through the morning. This is 8 o'clock, but that plain rain starting to make its way in behind that. Then we'll continue with just scattered showers into tomorrow afternoon. Could have a few locally heavier downpours. Wouldn't rule out a rumble of thunder as well. That's certainly going to be a possibility with that warmer air coming in. But by the afternoon, again, roadways will be in much better shape. For today, though, high temperatures overall warmer than yesterday, but cooler if you're closer to the lakeshore thanks to a southeasterly wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. But if you're farther inland, you'll still get to the lower 40s. And your evening planner for Saginaw has you dropping below freezing just before midnight, and then it's just after midnight we see those snow showers and that freezing rain picking up. 7-day forecast also has falling temperatures and windy conditions for Thursday. Upper 30s with a few lingering snow showers on Friday, but Blake, for the upcoming weekend, still looking good at the moment. Temperatures then in the 40s.
All right, we'll definitely take it. That's for sure, Matthew. Thank you. Well, service of Thanksgiving was held for the late Prince Philip today at Westminster Abbey. Now, Queen Elizabeth II, her son Prince Charles and his wife Camilla, and grandson Prince William and his wife Kate were all there. One statement from the palace says the event paid tribute to the prince's dedication to family, the nation, and Commonwealth. Officials also say his contributions to public service and work with hundreds of organizations were also highlighted. Philip died last April at the age of 99. And check this, rescue crews and zoo experts in Florida are keeping an eye on one bald eaglet. The bird is an internet star thanks to a live streaming camera, but she needed a little help when some fishing line posed a threat. Sanella Sabovic reports.
These bald eagles have become internet stars.
It's been such a great story.
Thanks to a live stream camera, we've watched Ron and Rita build their nest in October and successfully lay 2 eggs. The eaglets, named R1 and R2. Getting up to this point has been harsh. A storm knocked out their nest last year, killing one of their eaglets. The misfortunes prompting some help from Zoo Miami's Ron McGill and Lloyd Brown from Wildlife Rescue of Dade County, who have been following their every move. On Saturday, McGill noticed something was wrong. A fishing line was attached to R2's foot, preventing her from flying.
That fishing line could not only cut off the circulation and tear her foot off, but it could eventually kill her. We had to make an extreme decision to go up to try to free her. And that's something you only do as a last-ditch effort to save her life.
R2 managed to fly, but forcefully. Problem is, she still had the line attached to her foot. So rescuers went out to grab her again, brought her in to remove the line, and kept her for observation. Crews went out for a second time with their bucket to place her back in her nest, where she has been ever since. Now the concern is, after such a traumatic weekend, when will she fly on her own?
We're very hopeful that she's now going to make a full recovery.
Another hope of McGill's is that an important lesson is learned from this ordeal.
Fishermen especially need to be aware of what they do with their excess line. Don't toss line. Make sure you contain it and dispose of it properly, because fishing line is incredibly dangerous to native wildlife.
All right, glad that they are doing okay. But this, a daring doggy rescue caught on camera. How long this dog battled strong currents and how fire crews pulled that dog to safety. All right, check this one. A California dog is safe after battling currents in the Los Angeles River for nearly 2 hours. It started when a woman and her dog were spotted in that river. Firefighters were able to get that woman out safely, but the dog was a bit harder. That canine even bit 2 rescuers as they tried to get it out of the water. A man jumped in, grabbing and then losing grip of the dog. But finally, after about 2 hours, first responders got that dog safely out.
It's important to know that just 6 inches of water can sweep you off your feet. So we were dealing with about 1.5 feet earlier. Here it became more shallow. That was part of our tactic of making a ground-based rescue at this predetermined, more shallow area.
This is just the news we wanted. Rescues in the LA River, though, are extremely difficult because it's lost its natural banks when engineers channeled it in concrete. So good to see a happy ending, of course, when it involves dogs. We love it even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see that the dog is okay.
Yeah.
That must be, all that water moving, it's a lot of momentum.
I mean, the dog put up a good fight, so I'll give it that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so tell us, how's it looking for today?
For today, daytime still looks great. Plenty of sunshine out there, and even if you have evening plans, those are still looking good too. But we are tracking some freezing rain to move in overnight, picking up after midnight. That morning drive tomorrow will be a little slower and slippery, so some extra time is going to be needed. But then we warm up into the afternoon, 50s, so that'll just melt any ice that we do end up picking up. Temperatures fall on Thursday with windy conditions, and we're a little cooler on Friday with a few lingering snow showers. But the upcoming weekend still looking pretty good at the moment, with temperatures then back to the 40s.
All right, you can't be too mad when you say that the ice and snow will melt almost immediately. We appreciate it, Matthew. Thank you. And thanks all for watching TV5 News at noon. Have a great day. Stay warm. We will see you soon.
Thanks for watching WNEMTV5. Watch us live wherever you are, our mobile, and on our streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.